I'm going to show you how to take your touchpad apart and put it back together. So here I've got just the touchpad with the frame assembly. The first step is to remove these 4 screws on the back. They hold the black plastic component onto the rest of the assembly. And I'll show you the technique for dealing with these rather difficult screws when putting it back together as well. So this is both a disassembly and reassembly video. Okay. So the black plastic component came off. Now what we've got here are 2 rubber protecting pads. Just take them off. Put them aside. And the remainder is the touchpad component and circuit board for the buttons. You'll see that there are 2 screws on the top and 2 screws on the bottom holding these metal pieces in place, which in turn hold the touchpad in place. So just unscrew the 4 screws. Okay, now we've got the main frame and the PCB and touchpad. You just pull the whole assembly off of the main frame and lay the main frame aside. Now, if you need to replace your touchpad, you can look under here and you'll see there's a gray sliding tab, and you're going to need to slide it down on both sides, left and right. As you can see, it slid down there, and then the touchpad just pulls out. You can see how the touchpad has a little flex cable right here. So you're going to want to do this repair if your touchpad is no longer responding, but the play, pause buttons, back button, and so forth still work. Or, you know, if your buttons don't work and your scroll pad doesn't work, you'll just replace this and this. Okay, now time for the reassembly. Line up the touchpad back into the slot and just push it in. This part's a little more difficult than the disassembly. It should go far in enough such that you see the white line right here. You barely see the white line. It's just below the gray flap, or the gray latch, I should say. And now with your screwdriver, you push the latch back up where it should be. And now you'll be able to see 2 white lines. Okay. And now we're going to put the assembly back into the main frame. You put it in like this, and make sure that when you put it back together, this cable here goes all the way through, and it'll need this much room when you reassemble the whole thing. And now the fun part. This will involve these little metal components with the two holes and the you'll need to put it in place. These components are what holds the touchpad in place, actually, so the touchpad doesn't just go everywhere. Okay. There we go. Now you'll need to place the screws. Might have to fight there to get the first screw into place, but once you've got it, then you got it. And the second screw, placing the second screw is much easier. Okay, so you can see that the metal component is for holding the touchpad in place, and now you're going to do the top metal component. Make sure you get the top part of the touchpad into the hole of the metal component. Okay, once you get that third screw in there, you've won the battle. And the fourth screw doesn't stand a chance. That's how I think of it anyway. Okay. There we go. And now, the rest of it's pretty easy too. You're going to want to put your rubber pads back in, and you can see that on either side there's going to be some gray poles, little poles sticking up here, and they line up with 4 of the holes on the rubber pad. So you'll know when you've placed the rubber pad correctly, because you'll see the gray poles sticking up through the holes. There you go. You can see that they're sticking up there. Okay. And then the second rubber pad kind of goes underneath the touchpad. There we go. And then you put your plastic covering back over it and flip the board over. And now you're going to put the screws, the larger screws, back into place. The way I do this is first I use my pliers, and then I place it where it should be, and then with my finger I come down and hold it just like this. My finger is just to the left of the center of the screw so that my screwdriver can get in there. And you don't really want to tighten this too much, because if you do, you won't be, when you push the button down, you won't hear the click. If you have the screw too tight, you won't hear the click. So as you're putting these in, you need to double check each one by pressing it down and seeing if there's any give there.